Hello, welcome to Me For You, my experience serving your joy. This is Anush Babayan. How to live with your ego. I hear a lot of, we need to fight our ego. He or she has a massive ego, as though it were an excuse. Guess what? We all have a massive ego, because on the upside of ego, this is what ego has allowed us to survive all those millions or tens of thousands of years as a human species, and has brought us here to 2018. So the purpose of the ego is, among 7 billion of us on the planet, is first of all to make us feel that we are individual, we are special, we are unique. It's also, as I was saying, has allowed us so protection and survival. It's the survival part of us. On the downside, it is limiting, because, of course, as a survival mechanism, it'll hate our trying to get out of our comfort zone or stretch the extent of our comfort zone. It's also, it loves control, because for the same reasons, it needs to feel comfortable. It's also very destructive because it separates us as an individual, as individuals. It also, if you go further with that, it separates us where, at the highest level of who we are as human beings and beings of light, we are one. And separation is one of the massive causes of depression, is feeling alienated from the group, feeling alienated from everyone else. So those are the downsides. So how can you live with your ego, considering that in a lot of what we are experiencing today, ego needs to have just a small role in our lives. So in the times that we needed to survive, that we were constantly in danger of death, okay, our ego served its purpose. Nowadays, what a lot of modern philosophers are saying, and one that I really like, is Eckhart Tolle, who is also a spiritual leader. And in his book, A New Earth, there's, I don't know, 3 or 4 chapters only about the ego. And he explains that we've got to a stage of our development where we really are in the sharing, co-development, collaborative mode, and we can see it in companies more and more. And so we are stepping into the new earth, into a new form of life, of sharing, and so really our ego plays a very small role nowadays. I always think of 3 examples where ego is really minimal. It's driving, the highway code, love, and working with people, or building your company, becoming an entrepreneur. So when you think about it, the highway code is all about making space for other people, respecting other drivers, respecting pedestrians and cyclists and motorcyclists. So it's an anti-ego concept completely. And most of us, and it happens to all of us, drive with our ego fully pumped up. And if you're conscious of that, then you can balance the ego and sort of keep it in its place. So the second is love. A lot of relationships, when I say love, I suppose I mean relationships, but love relationships are always the epitome of love to me, of relationship, sorry. And so very often we're going to sabotage very wonderful relationships simply because we're letting our ego get in the way. We want to be right, we want to be in control. And the third one is work relations. When you think about teamwork, when you think of participating in a company, it's not about you, especially if you're in management. It's not about you, it's about your teams. It's about making sure that the people who work for you are happy and fulfilled. So how can we make sure that we are living at the highest level of who we are as a human being? How can we spot when our ego is taking over and trying to control the situation? Well, the way that I do it is, if I'm upset with someone or with something, I always say to myself, how much of this upset is due to my ego? And as soon as you ask the question, really, you get the balance. You don't have to answer the question, and you don't have to know, and you don't have to tell anyone. The other thing that I find that this technique very useful for is preemptively. For example, you've been upset, someone's upset you, and you want to react. You're in a reactive mode, and all you want is to get your own back. All you want is to rub the nose of that person into what they've done or what they've said. And there, before you communicate your anger, is to take a moment and to say, okay, so how much of this is ego-driven? And sometimes it's how much of this is fair, that, well, it's not acceptable for me. But the thing is to ask yourself the question and not be in a reactive mode of a wounded, animal. Okay, so I hope that helps for you to spot your ego, and as Eckhart Tolle says, as soon as you've spotted it, or even asked yourself the question, is that my ego playing up? Really, the ego loses its power. So it's not about fighting your ego, okay? And that has really helped me. Thank you for watching. Make sure you like the video, do subscribe, because then you're showing your support and that these videos are helping you, because this is what I'm doing it for, really. Do share, and take care, and talk to you very soon.